If you're over 60 and your legs have been feeling heavier than they used to, harder to get going in the morning, a little less steady than before, I want you to stay with me for the next 10 minutes. Because what I'm about to share isn't about exercise. It isn't about medication. It isn't about anything complicated. It's about something you do every single morning. Something so familiar, so automatic, that you've probably never once questioned it. And it's quietly, day after day, working against the very strength and stability you're trying to hold on to. Let's talk about it. Here's how most mornings go for most people. You wake up. You sit up slowly. Maybe you stretch a little, roll your ankles, shift your weight. And then you make your way to the kitchen, or stay right where you are, and you do what you've done for decades. You make your tea. Or your coffee. You hold that warm cup. You take that first sip. And something in you relaxes completely. It feels nurturing. It feels like exactly what your body needs first thing in the morning. And that feeling is real. I'm not going to tell you it isn't. But feelings can be misleading. Because what feels warming on the outside is doing something very specific on the inside. Something that directly affects your circulation, your muscle function, and the strength in your legs. And most people have no idea it's happening. Here's the piece that changes everything. By the time you open your eyes in the morning, you are already mildly dehydrated. Not severely. Not dangerously. But enough to matter, especially for your legs. Think about it. You've just gone 7 or 8 hours without a single drop of fluid. And your body was working the entire time, repairing cells, regulating temperature, processing everything from the day before. All of that work requires water. So when you wake up, your body is already running a deficit. And one of the very first places that deficit shows up is in your blood. When you're even slightly dehydrated, your blood becomes thicker. More concentrated. It doesn't flow as freely through your vessels. And when blood doesn't flow freely, your circulation slows. Now, your legs are the farthest point from your heart. They already receive the weakest blood flow in the morning, after hours of lying still. When you layer dehydration on top of that, circulation to your lower body slows even further. Less oxygen reaching your leg muscles. Less fuel. Less responsiveness. And that's before you've even had your first sip of anything. Now here's where your morning tea or coffee comes in. Caffeine, whether it's in tea or coffee, is a diuretic. That means it signals your kidneys to flush out more fluid. It increases urination. And it accelerates the loss of the very water your body is already short of. So the sequence goes like this. You wake up already dehydrated. You skip giving your body any water. And within the first few minutes of your day, you give it something that makes the dehydration worse. And you feel completely fine. In fact, you probably feel energized. That's the tricky part. Because caffeine also stimulates your nervous system. It creates a feeling of alertness, of energy, of being awake. So the dehydration doesn't register as dehydration. It feels like a normal morning. But underneath that feeling, your blood is thicker. Your circulation is slower. Your leg muscles are starting the day already under-resourced. This is why so many people over 60 notice that their legs feel stiff in the morning even when they've been moving around. Why they feel heavy. Why they don't seem to respond with the kind of ease they used to. They're doing a lot right. But this one piece, this one quiet habit, is working against all of it. Let's take this a step further. Because the morning dehydration issue isn't just about how you feel right now. It has a longer-term effect that most people never connect to their daily habits. Your leg muscles need oxygen to do 3 things: move, recover, and maintain tone. When oxygen delivery is consistently reduced, even slightly, even temporarily each morning, your muscles compensate. They work harder to accomplish the same tasks. They fatigue more quickly. They take longer to recover between movements. And over time, you adapt to this without realizing it. You assume the extra effort is just aging. You accept the faster fatigue as normal. You stop expecting your legs to feel the way they once did. But here's the question worth sitting with. What if that wasn't inevitable? What if much of what you've been accepting as the natural course of getting older was actually being influenced, day after day, by something as simple as what you drink first in the morning? Because that's what the evidence keeps pointing toward. Now here's the good news. And I mean genuinely good news. You don't have to give up your tea or coffee. Not at all. The solution isn't about what you drink. It's about when, and in what order. Start your morning with 1 glass of plain water before anything else. Room temperature if possible. Cold water first thing can cause your body to redirect energy toward warming it, an unnecessary strain first thing in the morning. Room temperature water absorbs faster. It begins rehydrating your blood almost immediately. Circulation starts improving within minutes. Then, after that glass of water, even just a few minutes later, have your tea or your coffee as you normally would. That's it. Your body is now already hydrated when the caffeine arrives. The diuretic effect still happens, but it's no longer compounding a deficit that was already there. It's working from a place of balance instead of shortage. The difference in how your legs feel, the lightness when you stand, the ease when you start moving, can begin showing up within days. And once you feel it, you won't need reminding. Your body will ask for that water. Because it finally knows what it's been missing. Now I want to be honest with you about something. This change sounds simple. And in terms of effort, it really is. But in terms of habit, it's one of the harder ones to shift. Because your morning tea or coffee isn't just a drink. It's a ritual. It carries decades of memory, comfort, and meaning. For many people, it's the one moment of the morning that feels entirely theirs. And disrupting that, even slightly, even by just adding something before it, can feel surprisingly wrong at first. That's completely normal. And it doesn't mean you failed if you forget a few times or slip back into the old routine. What makes this change stick isn't willpower. It's understanding. When you truly understand what is happening inside your body, when the connection between that morning sequence and the way your legs feel an hour later becomes clear and personal to you, the habit stops feeling like a rule you're following. It becomes something you choose. Because you've felt the difference. And feeling the difference is far more powerful than being told about it. So try it for just 2 weeks. 1 glass of water first. Then your tea or coffee. Notice your legs. Notice your movement. Notice how you feel when you stand up. Let your body tell you the rest. The years after 60 carry a quiet pressure, this sense that decline is inevitable, that what's slipping away is just the natural order of things. But so much of what people accept as inevitable is actually modifiable. Not through dramatic interventions. Not through anything extreme. But through small, consistent changes that work with how the body actually functions, rather than against it. Your legs carry you through every single day. They deserve to start each morning with the one thing your body has been waiting for all night. 1 glass of water. Before anything else. That's where it begins. If this made you think of someone, a friend, a spouse, a parent, who might need to hear this, share it with them. Sometimes the smallest pieces of information land at exactly the right time. And if you want to keep going, the next video covers another silent morning habit that's affecting your leg strength and balance in a completely different way. One that has nothing to do with what you drink. It's about how you sit, and the signal that position sends to your muscles before your day even begins. I'll see you there.